In 2019, you could buy a Porsche 996 GT3 for around $32,000. That's not a typo. 32 grand for a real factory Porsche GT3. In 2024, that exact same car, same model, same era, sold for $96,000. That's not a car that lost value getting driven around for 5 years. That's a car that tripled. And here's the part that should actually bother you. There are 6 more cars sitting at those same 2019 style prices right now, today, that nobody is talking about. Not because they're bad cars, because the people who know don't post about it. So in the next 11 minutes, I'm gonna walk you through 7 cars that collectors are quietly buying up. What to look for, what to avoid, and roughly where the smart money thinks these are headed. Stick around for number 1, because it's the one most people get catastrophically wrong.
Quick reality check before we start.
Nobody's telling you to sell your house and buy a used Lexus. This isn't financial advice, it's pattern recognition. Cars are not stocks. They need maintenance, storage, insurance. There's a real cost to holding one. But certain cars, at certain points in their life cycle, stop depreciating and start appreciating. There's a name for this in the collector world, the depreciation curve bottom. It's the exact moment a used car stops being just old and starts being historically significant. Buy before that moment and you're early. Buy after and you're chasing. The 7 cars on this list are either at that bottom right now or have already started climbing off it. Let's get into it.
We'll start with the one you've probably heard of, because it proves the pattern actually works. The Toyota Supra MK4. The twin-turbo 2JZ Fast and Furious car was a $25,000 to $30,000 used car as recently as the early 2010s. Enthusiasts who bought clean, unmodified examples back then are now sitting on cars worth well over $100,000 for the best low-mile survivors. Why does this matter for this list? Because the Supra is the finished version of the story we're about to tell 6 more times. It went from cheap used Japanese sports car to certified investment-grade collector car in about a decade. That window is closed now. The Supra's expensive. But the mechanism that made it expensive, a legendary, over-engineered drivetrain, cultural relevance, and a shrinking supply of unmodified examples, is exactly what's happening right now, quietly, to the next 6 cars.
The Lexus LFA is the one on this list that's already expensive, but it's still arguably undervalued relative to what it actually is. Toyota built roughly 500 of these. Naturally aspirated V10, a screaming 10,000 RPM redline, a digital tachometer so fast that analog gauges physically couldn't keep up with it. It cost about $375,000 new, and Toyota reportedly lost money on every single one. Compare that to what Ferraris and McLarens from the same era with similar production numbers are selling for, and the LFA still trades at a noticeable discount, mostly because the market hasn't fully priced in that Toyota will never, ever build anything like it again. No hybrid replacement, no successor model, it's a one-off moment in the company's history. Collectors who understand rarity are already circling. This is the highest price of entry car on the list, but the ceiling is genuinely still above it.
If you're into this kind of stuff, hit subscribe now so you don't miss the next one. Back to the list.
Everyone knows the modern G-Wagon as a status symbol, parked outside a nightclub. Almost nobody's paying attention to the older, boxier W463 versions from the late 90s and 2000s. Here's the thing about the G-Class specifically. Mercedes has kept the silhouette almost unchanged for over 40 years, which means the older trucks don't look outdated the way most 20-year-old SUVs do. They look intentional, retro even. Clean, low-mileage examples from the pre-facelift era, before the interior got modernized, are starting to get picked up specifically because they're mechanically simpler, more repairable, and visually closer to the original military design the G-Class was built on. Less electronics to fail, more character. This is a slower burn pick than the others on this list, but the trajectory is the same one we saw with old Land Cruisers and Defenders.
Boxy, simple, off-road capable trucks age into cult objects, not junk.
This one's for the enthusiasts, and it's arguably the most obvious pick on this list once you understand why.
The W204 generation C63 AMG had a naturally aspirated 6.2-liter V8, no turbos. AMG has since moved to smaller, turbocharged, and hybrid engines across the entire lineup, which means this specific generation represents the last naturally aspirated V8 AMG will ever put in a compact sedan. That's not opinion. That's just where the industry's regulatory pressure is pushing everything. Turbos and electrification aren't going anywhere, which means the raw, high-revving, naturally aspirated performance sedan is becoming a genuinely finite category, like naturally aspirated Ferraris before turbo V8s took over. Clean, non-modified W204 C63s with full service history are the ones to watch. Modified examples, no matter how well done, tend to get treated as parts cars by serious collectors down the line.
If you're finding this useful, tap subscribe. 3 more cars coming up, including the big one. This is probably the most underrated car on the entire list, and it's the one I'd tell a friend to buy today if they want it in early. The ISF was Lexus's answer to the BMW M3 and C63, a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 stuffed into a mid-size sedan, built with Toyota's reliability standards. It never got the marketing budget or the badge prestige of its German rivals, so it spent over a decade being dramatically underpriced relative to what it actually is mechanically. That gap is exactly why collectors are starting to move in. It has the same last-of-its-kind naturally aspirated V8 story as the AMG C63, but with a Lexus reliability reputation attached to it, and it's still available for meaningfully less money than comparable BMWs. When the obviously superior engineering story hasn't caught up to the price yet, that's usually the definition of an opportunity. The E46 M3 is the car that convinced a lot of skeptics that this whole old car as investment idea wasn't a fluke. 10 years ago, a decent E46 M3 was a $15,000 to $20,000 used car that enthusiasts tracked on weekends and beat up without much guilt. Today, clean manual examples, especially the coupe, are regularly clearing $40,000 and $50,000, with exceptional low-mile cars going well beyond that. What made it happen? The S54 Straight 6 is widely considered one of the best naturally aspirated engines BMW ever built. It's the last M3 generation before BMW moved to V8s and then turbo engines, and manual transmissions are disappearing from the market entirely. All 3 of those trends only move in one direction. If you're chasing this one now, you're later than the ideal entry point.
But the trajectory hasn't stopped, it's just slowed down. This is the proof of concept for everything else on this list.
And we're back to where we started, the car from the hook. The Porsche 996 is the most hated then loved 911 generation in Porsche's history. When it launched, enthusiasts revolted over the fried egg headlights and the switch to water cooling. That backlash tanked resale values for years, dragging even the GT3 variant down with it, despite the GT3 using the legendary Mezger engine, a race-derived motor with none of the IMS bearing failure issues that plague the standard 996 Carrera. That's the detail almost nobody outside the Porsche world knows. The bad 911 engine reputation doesn't actually apply to the GT3. It's a completely different motorsport-bred engine block. But the stigma from the regular 996 dragged GT3 prices down anyway, which is exactly the kind of market inefficiency collectors dream about. That inefficiency is closing fast. As more buyers learn the Mezger engine story, the GT3 keeps climbing toward where it arguably always should have been.
So that's the list. Supra, LFA, G-Class, C63, ISF, E46 M3, and the 996 GT3. The pattern across all 7 is the same. A genuinely great piece of engineering, sold new to a market that didn't fully appreciate it, now aging into scarcity as the industry moves toward turbos, hybrids, and eventually cars with no engine at all. None of this is a guarantee. Markets shift, condition matters more than the model name, and a rough example of any of these can still lose you money. Do the research, get a pre-purchase inspection,
Buy the best example you can afford, not the cheapest one on the list. If you want the next video where I rank these 7 by projected 5-year appreciation, hit subscribe. That one's coming next week.